ask me anything?
Why you're so great.
Yeah, there you
You know what? I love my job.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm great. I just do what I do, and people seem to like it.
We think you're great.
Thank you very much.
We love
Thank
that you
you.
love your job.
I do.
It's made watching these films a lot more fun.
Thank you. There was a panel last night. I don't know if any of you saw it called I Know That Voice. There's a film that John DiMaggio has made called I Know That Voice. And it was such a love fest of actors and audience, fans. And it was like, this is why I do this work, and this is why I love this work, because people tell you how much they like it. And so I must be doing something right. All I do is go in and do my job with as much joy as I have toward that work, and it seems to work.
You're so experienced at what you do, and you're the best at what you do. When you get an actor who comes in who usually, either does stage or live action, is there usually a certain thing that a lot of them have trouble doing when they go into doing voice work?
That often happens, and actors who have only done film, and not even TV really, of course now everybody's doing TV, aren't they? Film actors work so small, everything is so captured and so blown up that film actors have a hard time transitioning into animation. Stage actors make the easiest transition because they're used to working a little bit bigger, a little bit, what animation requires. But this was an instance where I hired C. Thomas for this interview. I had never worked with him before. We did the gig. He was stunningly good. And afterwards he said, I've never done this before. And you would never ever know that to be true. He has a massive voiceover career if he desires it. He's got it. He just gets it. And some actors do, they just get it, and some others don't. There's also an aspect sometimes of actors that haven't done it before that come in, and maybe, this is more years ago than now, think it's a lesser art form. Well, now it's become so huge as this event, Comic-Con, shows, it's enormous. Then they're like, you know what, my son could care less that I'm, on whatever major TV series or whatever, but if I do something that has Batman, I am going to be the hero of the household. And I've told somebody before in other interviews, when I was working on SpongeBob, Johnny Depp called us up and said, can I please come do a SpongeBob? My kids could care less that I'm in Pirates of the Caribbean. I do a SpongeBob episode. So it's...
Well, isn't that how you got David Bowie?
Yeah. He contacted and said, can I please? Yeah, we'll find something.
I think we got a space for you. We'll figure something out.
Unfortunately for me, they recorded David Bowie the week before I came on. So I didn't get to do it a week before I went on.
And there's certain characters, you work with a lot of the same characters, but different actors maybe. Are there certain ones that you like more to work with, or they're more interesting
Actors
to you?
or characters?
Characters.
Characters. Batman's fascinating character. And he's depicted so many different ways in all the various different things that we've seen. And so I have a real soft spot for Batman. And what I really like about Batman is, unlike Superman, who pretty much is always going to do the right thing, Superman has this innate sense of what is right and just, and unless he is being acted upon by kryptonite or something, he's going to do the right thing. Batman, kind of good. He's human, so he has human foibles. Just like any of us, we get cranky. Remember a normal day where somebody bumping into you would not make you angry on a bad day when they're bumping into you? Hey, and Batman has that potential to lose his cool. And I like that. I find that stimulating. So I do have a soft spot for that.
Is there any difference coming into this type of story with the
Paradox?
Yeah, thank you.
Flashpoint Paradox?
Flashpoint Paradox, how dark it actually is, because you read the comics and you just know it's a dark story, as opposed to any of the other kind of stories you tell that just aren't exactly as dark.
Do you know what I liked about this story so much is I was completely confused by it. When I read it the first time, I was like, what the hell is going on here? This is not the... And I really was confused. And then as it began to reveal itself as to what was going on, I was like, oh. And then you get to the end, and then I thought, okay, my job is to take the audience along that same ride that I just took, because everybody should be scratching their heads together. Now, the title tips off a little bit that there's something odd in this world. It's a paradox going on. But there's that interesting concept always of what would happen if, did you ever get in a car accident and say, if I had left my house 3 minutes later than I did, I wouldn't have had that accident. And that's the basis of this, is what would happen if things were just a little bit different at that one moment moment in time. And so I think that's fascinating. That made this story really interesting for me.
Have you ever been in a situation where, like, you had someone come in and, you know, for instance, for Batman, and they did it in a completely different way, like anyone has ever done it, but it really works and you didn't expect it? It doesn't have to be Batman, it's something like that.
Very good question. You know, when I cast John DiMaggio as the Joker in Under the Red Hood, I didn't know what he was going to do. I knew he was going to do something awesome, but to watch him work through it was so exciting. Because, you know, you work with actors for years and years and years on various projects, and you think you pretty much know everything that they can do, and you've heard everything they can do, and then suddenly they do something, they pull it out of the air. And John literally terrified me in that piece. He was so scary. And thank God I know him, that he's not a scary guy, because he was so convincing as this maniac. And yet there's these light moments in that too where he's so funny. That was very interesting for me. But I'm sure there are people. There's a better answer than that, but at this moment I can't do it.
Which Flashpoint version of the characters that you work with many times did you find the most different and the hardest to approach?
Which Flash?
Which Flashpoint? So which
which-
alternate version?
Well, Batman was, you know, to have it in Thomas Wayne is a very different, you know, but we had just done, you know, Dark Knight Returns, and so we had the older, bitter Batman, so it was kind of in that same realm, but it's not Bruce Wayne Batman, it's Thomas Wayne Batman, so, you know, there's still that bitter, angry feeling of I lost a loved one to violence, still in Crime Alley. Why does anybody go to a place called Crime Alley? No, it's like, why do you live in Tornado Alley? Why do you rent a house? Why do you live in a mobile home?
And they keep building those houses
What's the
there.
deal? What's the deal? So yeah, but so that's always an interesting. Any of these characters, I'm trying to think of who was. I didn't bring in some of my tried and true. I wanted to. I was missing Dana Delaney. Frankly, I was just missing her, and watching her wonderful new show that's Bruce, Body of Bruce. So happy for her success on her show. I love her show. And Nathan Fillion. Let me not bring Nathan in again. No, I won't. So there was that comfort zone where you bring in people that you know and love, and then also there's that thing where you do like casting Carrie Elwes as the evil Aquaman. They go, you know what? I'm Carrie for 20 years. Let me cast him doing something that he doesn't really normally get cast at. And let me let the actor do something different for a change. Let him play this nasty, warmongering, enormous, evil person. And that was a little scary because I think he's a wonderful actor. I thought he could do it, but then there's always that moment when you bring him in and and you go, come on, but he pulled it off. Totally did. Well,
Steal her away.
Thank you.